Hello and welcome to Flashback Generations.
Hiya.
Who would have thought that Descent Junior was ever created and made and brilliant? Of course, I'm talking about Mice and Mystics.
What is it?
Mice and Mystics, yeah, as Sai says, it's like a dungeon crawler. It's a board game with miniatures, dice, cards, the whole bit. It's very fantasy themed, but it's aimed at a younger audience really, because it's themed around like a storybook, isn't it?
It's got a whole
fairy
storybook
story,
to it, yeah.
So it's a magical tale of these guys in a castle who've been turned into mice. That changes their world. Suddenly a small spider's a terrifying enemy, and they've got to crawl through the giant world of the humans, using equipment, casting spells, doing combat, shooting bows, all the rest of it. So yeah, it's kind of like Descent Junior, as I said. Really good.
What do you get?
And with this game, you get quite a few miniatures, don't you?
You get enough miniatures.
You get enough. You don't get hundreds of extras, but you get enough, and they're really nice quality.
They're very nice actually for what they are. Like these are all painted up, and you can see that they've really got a lot of character to them.
There's almost a Beatrix Potter sort of feel to them. They're like little anthropomorphic, or whatever the word is, mice who are people, and the rats are kind of thuggy sort of bad guy rats with nasty daggers and stuff. And you get a load of cards as well.
The artwork is gorgeous. Like that, you can see that they really, really loved what they're creating here.
Yeah.
So the artwork, the rule book and the adventure book.
Yeah, it's full of nice
artwork. Full of lovely artwork to kind of get you to, so you understand the creativity of the world, and you know what's actually happening.
Yeah.
The cat being the big bad guy and stuff. You really feel like. I quite like it, on this cover here you can see the cat's got like this, scar on its eye, so you've already got a feeling that, the cat's a really nasty piece of work.
Yeah.
But all of this is so beautifully themed. Even over here we have, the tracker for the round turns, the initiative order, your search deck and all this. That's beautifully designed, just so you can actually play the game.
Yeah.
The card is just stunning too, and it's got a great mechanic here where you're like above ground if it's red and under the castle if it's grey.
Right.
So you get this feeling that there's two levels to the game, and that is really, really beautifully portrayed in the artwork, of which on each card you can just see there's so much detail and craft and love. I just think it's beautiful to look at.
It is.
Let's talk about the rules.
How does it work?
So the rules for this game are quite simple.
Are they indeed?
They're Hero Quest simple combat. One of the harder parts about it is like enemy placement and like where does the enemy how does the enemy react?
The spawning of enemies.
So there is certain elements that kind of get a bit tricky, or like interactions between objects, distance to things, and are you next to things. Now the artwork in this case, even though I'm a big fan of it, the artwork can at the same time make it a bit.
Yeah, there's a mechanic. The case in point is the adjacency. So there's 4 squares here, you won't be able to see them, but there's 4 stone tiles, cobbles if you like. And to find out if they're adjacent, you take a normal size miniature, apparently, and you place it. If you can place it so that 2 parts of its base are touching those 2 tiles, then they're adjacent.
Yeah.
Which allows them to make. It's not a grid, is it?
No.
It's cobblestones. More natural shapes and stones.
It's a messy grid.
It's a messy grid, yeah, but given that rule, it works, which is kind of good. It's allowed them. You can play on the artwork rather than something like Imperial Assault, where you're on a grid and the artwork's pasted underneath. So that's kind of neat. It's very cute, isn't it? That.
Your dice. You've got ranged attacks, cheese, defense and attack. So there's quite a lot of things on the dice as well as that. You've got little starbursts, which often are like for roll a dice, you succeed if you get one, or if you don't get one, you fail. And as well as that, there's numbers on every single side, and the number represent how far you can move. Or the enemies move. Everyone moves like a random amount between 1 to 3. That I suppose is the simplicity of it. The dice at first are kind of can be quite intimidating because there's quite a lot on them. Your stats as well, like so you got like Filch for instance has 2 swords, so that's 2 dice he has. But there's stats in here that you wouldn't really use, like his mystic ability. It sort of feels a bit.
Is that lore?
Your lore is it? Yeah. Well, that's the sort of thing that you'd never really.
No,
use
sometimes pops up on a card. It's like if you have lore 3 or above, blah blah blah. It's kind of like, wow, this is more complex than I thought it was going to be. Because it looks like it's themed at kids.
Yeah.
And the Hero Quest is way simpler than this. But it's no bad thing.
No, one of the hard things they did is the conditions for when you actually finish the game. So you'll every mission will tell you lose if it gets to page whatever. So you got this page 1 to 10 here basically, but most often like the page will be on page 5 or something. And if you get a mouse killed, you'll go up a number. If the cheese wheel and the enemies actually, which they often do, then it goes up a page. And what will happen then is the encounter deck. So every time you go to a new room, it'll tell you what chapter you're on. Well, this is what you're going to encounter. So every page it gets a little bit harder, but your characters aren't necessarily going to get much better. Like you don't actually. There's no real leveling up. Well, I say that you do get skills, which. Are the thing that you gradually build on. So your skills will Maginos starts learning how to cast fireballs and
they do develop a little bit, don't they?
So there is a kind of skill deck, but your core stats never get that much better. But I suppose you armor, better swords.
Yeah.
But this is all random because there's a very large search deck to go through.
And what as Sai's alluded to the different levels, so he's in the intro scenario he's kind of like upstairs somewhere in a room, and you can drop down a grid and you're in the sewers and there's a rushing stream, and it's very fluffy, isn't it? It's very fluffy, real story. And then you get choices as well, so it might be you can go this way and go towards your mission objective, or you can risk going somewhere else, and trying for a bonus and stuff like that.
Yes.
Which I forced everybody to do, and we failed, didn't we? We didn't fail, we got the bonus, but then they left us no time to finish the mission.
The storybook, I'll point out, is very deep. Okay, like it's unlike Descent, which is you go to this.
You got a quest. Go.
Descent might be like, oh, this guy says this when you open the door. The door groans open and a giant appears. There you go. That's it. That's what happens in Descent. This book is full on paragraphs that you're going to be reading to people. It was developed with by a man who had his kids in mind, as he wanted to tell them a story, but he also wanted them to play a game. Yeah. So he kind of did that beautifully, but it is pretty complex for this game. You need an adult to play it that actually
you do. You need
is enthusiastic.
You couldn't. I don't think you could hand it to a bunch of 8-year-olds and say, "I'll get on with it."
They wouldn't have a clue. It'll be wrong basically.
Yeah, they'll be playing their own version of it, wouldn't they? But yeah, if you've got somebody who's willing to pull people through, it's going to be it'll be great. Almost DM it, really.
Yeah.
Sort of semi-DM it, isn't it? That's what it needs for the younger children. I think it's probably great for a bunch of adults to play. There's enough depth, isn't there?
I think this game is actually a really good game. It's a solid game. It's got so much there's a lot of heart in it. You can really see that they really went for it. I don't know about the expansions I don't know what they actually gave or
I wouldn't have a chance to play it yet.
There's an awful lot. Some of the game I feel is a little overcomplicated, which kind of is a bit of a shame. Like for instance, if you have the fork and the grape, like there's reams of text for what they can both do.
Oh, the fork as in the dinner fork. It's a massive, huge piece of equipment for these guys.
The cat has got like big reams of text, and I feel like it could be condensed. Like a lot of the rule book text should be a little bit. If they intend it to be that long, it should be very story driven, but it
cat
doesn't need
shows
to
up
be.
through the mechanic of being two sort of disembodied paws stamping down.
Yeah.
Behaved with an AI on each paw, and they both act differently, and they're pretty vicious as well. He wiped us out, didn't he?
I quite like the cat rules, but at the same time, I think it could have been a lot simpler.
Yeah.
You know, they don't need to.
You have to go to the book and read the chapter.
You have to really read it, and to me, when you have to have these big reams of text, it slows down again, especially like this, where there's already a lot of, narrative, and someone has to sit there with a rule book telling people this is what's going to happen, this is what's happening here.
I think they should have gone. The cat should have been a bit of a Baron von Blubber, where if you take too long in a room, he shows up and chases you around until you either get out or are killed. They should have gone that way, something like that.
They could have done, but just some things I feel like they didn't need to go as complex as they did. If it doesn't fit in the card, it shouldn't be in the book.
Yeah.
That's the general rule. But I do really like the game. It's the sort of game that as a kid this would have been my favourite game.
Yeah, we would have spent years on this when we were kids. It's like,
me as a 10-year-old, I would have just been, this would have been my dream game. Do you think? The rats and stuff, like they're kind of okay, but is there enough enemies in it? Do you think there's enough variety? I haven't got the whole way through the book.
Yeah, so far, because we played a mission and it felt like a slog. Not in a bad way. It felt like a real mission,
Yeah.
I think we got through 3 or 4 rooms.
Yes.
You did get the feel that these were mice, struggling through a massive environment, if you like, even though they were only small rooms. Crossing the river was a bit of a thing, wasn't it?
It is, yeah.
If you've not got the fish hook, I don't think you can cross. Not the river, sorry, the sewer pipe.
Yeah. Well, you can get instantly KO'd on that.
It really tells its story well. I've not read the storybook bit, but you did feel like it was a band of mice trying to get through sort of a fantasy castle sort of thing. It's really immersive, definitely. Enough enemies? Yeah, because we fought a few rats. The bugs came out, didn't they? And they didn't seem to do much, just they were an irritant. The spiders were terrifying.
Yes.
We look at the stats and you're like, yikes, let's keep away from that thing, I hope it doesn't come over to us, I think every game benefits from more enemies and more variety, and I think the expansion gives you some of those, doesn't it? But
yeah.
It could have done with maybe 1 or 2 more types of enemies.
I think this game, what it did really well is the cooperative feel in it. Everyone feels like you've got a real part in the team. That's
it's the classic. It's the usual class, isn't it? Healer, fight, tank, wizard, and thief.
Yes.
Thief, and there's an archer in there somewhere we didn't get to use yet.
She comes out later, but yeah. No, it's a really good game. I need to. I was playing with a 5-year-old at the time, and she really didn't get it. So I think what's the recommended age for this? I think it's 7 or 8. And
Sounds more like it.
And after doing that, I realised, you know what? That is the age group. She had no idea what's going on. This game's far too complex. That's my advice. Don't get missold the age. The age groups on these games is there for a reason.
Yeah, nice components though. If you wanted to just play, simplify it down for a younger kid and just say, roll your dice and move, roll the dice if you beat the monster. You've always got the option of doing that thing, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's definitely one for probably 8+, isn't it? With a bit of help. But it's really nice. Very Beatrix Potter. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
So much so I bought one of my own.
Alright guys, well thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.
Cheerio.